Cleveland, Ohio, March 19. LeBron James. Note to user expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Mandatory copyright notice. Copyright 2018 NBA photo by David Liam Kyle, NBA via Getty Images. Over the last few years of the NBA All-Star Game, the format has changed. After years and years of the East versus West layout, the league changed to a method of having fans vote for captains and then captains picking their teams. This year, the captains were LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Dallas Mavericks did not officially have a representative for this year's All-Star Game when the teams were announced. Despite having the third most fan votes from anyone in the league, Luka Doncic was left off by the coaches and players. A little while after the players were announced, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver announced that Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade would be honorary All-Stars. For the purpose of this post and being a Dallas Mavericks fan site, we decided to switch out a couple of the players we felt were not deserving of an All-Star nomination with others. We ended up agreeing on 3 guys to sub out: LaMarcus Aldridge, D'Angelo Russell and Kyle Lowry. We replaced them with Luka Doncic, Victor Oladipo and Eric Bledsoe. These replacements, aside from Luka, were unbiased. We just felt like Lowry and Russell have not shown enough to be all-stars during this season. The format of this game is important to note also. This would be a one-game scenario where the result actually mattered, so more like a Game 7 of the NBA Finals than an all-star game. The teams were selected with that in mind. So, without further ado, here are the teams selected by site expert Cole Rast and site contributor Evan Siegel. Page 20AKLAND, November 21st, Kevin Durant. Note to user expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Photo by Theron W. Henderson, Getty Images. Evan Siegel. Pairing one of the best scorers in NBA history with LeBron James is going to be pretty tough to stop. Adding Durant's massive wingspan to the defensive end and his enormous frame on offense will give him and LeBron virtually any shot they want from the wing. Paul George, Team Giannis. Cole Rast, looking like a top 3 MVP candidate at this point in the season thanks to incredible shooting and perhaps the best wing defense in the league. Paul George is too good to pass up at this point. He can do it all and will do it all. Putting him with Giannis to bolster the wing defense makes this a scary team already. Kawhi Leonard, Team LeBrons, going up against a team with as much firepower as the Greek Freak, a chorus of other superstars. Adding the league's best defender is going to go a long way towards keeping their point total down. Offensively, having Leonard, Durant and James will suffocate the defense and have offense coming from all directions on the wing. Steph Curry, Team Giannis. The best shooter in the NBA should be able to spread the floor for Giannis to work in the paint and PG to find his openings, right? Curry adds another element to this team that makes them so dangerous. He is not a great defender but is better than some of the other options, and having him at the 4th pick is a dream. Oakland, California, May 26, Stephen Curry. Note to user expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Mandatory copyright notice. Copyright 2018 NBA photo by Noah Graham, NBA via Getty Images. James Harden, Team LeBrons. After bolstering the front court to levels unseen, I needed a perimeter presence. Plug in James Harden and we're off to the races. With the 30-point streak still alive and well, Harden will live at the foul line, stretch the floor with 3-pointers, and run devastating pick-and-rolls with Kevin Durant. KR, the only true big man in the starting lineups. There isn't a player in these starting squads that can match up with the skills that Embiid possesses. Add that to his likely NBA All-Defense nomination this year and this team is looking to lock people down left and right. Kyrie Irving, Team LeBron's. All that is missing from this lineup is a true point guard. While Harden can man the paint effectively, adding another primary ball handler was important, as well as a more consistent three-point shooter. Harden primarily gets his threes off the step-back, whereas Durant will be used in isolation situations and two-man games with Harden. Adding another floor spacer and underrated defender completes the starting five. Kemba Walker, Team John Isker, the last pick among the starters, really isn't a bad title to have. Kemba has been scorching this year and looks to continue that streak going into the All-Star game. He is a solid passer and has quickness to stay in front of guys. I like Kemba matched up on someone like Kyrie Irving. Page 3 in EW Orleans, LA, October 31st, Klay Thompson. Note to user. User expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Photo by Stacey Revere, Getty Images, KR. This wasn't a hard choice. Even though AD has given the NBA more than enough drama, there is no doubt that he is the best player in the group of reserves. His playmaking ability all around the court paired with his rim protection makes him a force to be reckoned with. Firepower and defense is the name of this team. Klay Thompson, Team LeBron's. You can't have enough shooting in today's world, and Thompson's ridiculously quick release and unparalleled range will stretch a defense to a breaking point. Perhaps the only weakness of any kind in the starting lineup is a truly lethal shooter other than Durant. Thompson satisfies this need and provides another on-ball defender. Bradley Beal, Team John Isker. Beal is not an elite defender, but he is very good. He is also an excellent scorer and he does just about everything well. The strength of this team is in the wings and Beal adds to that well. Being able to give guys a rest and maybe even stepping in at the end of games in place of Kemba would be the key role for Beal. Damian Lillard, Team LeBron's. Backing up Kyrie Irving with Damian Lillard will give me a tremendous scoring presence at point guard throughout the entire game. Few people can find their stroke the way Lillard can, and between him and Thompson, the second unit will be shooting the lights out in this matchup. Lillard, Irving, and Harden give me three tremendous ball handlers who can set up others offensively. Dallas Mavericks Luka Doncic. Copyright 2018 NBA. Photo by Garrett Elwood. NBA via Getty Images. Luka Doncic, Team John Isker. Come on now, there's no way he can drop any lower than this, right? Surround Luka with some elite scorers and sit back and enjoy the game. Luka's playmaking ability is already one of the best in the league. If you compare that with some guys that will make every play count, you've got something special. Luka would mesh with this team perfectly, who can highlight his offensive prowess and cover up some of the defensive woes. In the present-day NBA, having as much talent on the wings as possible is paramount. That makes adding a player as effective as Nikola Jokic an incredible luxury this late in the draft. Arguably the best passing center in the NBA, Jokic will terrorize the defense with high-low actions and can find cutting wing players to the basket at will. Karl Anthony Towns, Team John Isker. I flip-flopped on this one, but Cat is an elite athlete that is young but plays with energy and ability that is hard to find. I like having a big that can stretch the floor, and between him, AD and Embiid, the shooting for this team will be in good hands. Blake Griffin, Team LeBron's. Griffin has quietly had a spectacular season for the Pistons. Another 26 points per game for a bench that already includes Klay Thompson and Damian Lillard is going to cement the bench being the better of the two units offensively. Griffin can also combine with Damian Lillard on lethal two-man schemes. Middleton, Team John Isker. A perfect Robin to Giannis Batman. Middleton is a great player in many different areas. His shooting has been fantastic this year, which will be his primary role with this team. He will be getting limited minutes based on the 9 guys in front of him. Victor Oladipo, Team LeBron's. Oladipo is a willing defender, who will be selfless offensively. At this point in the rotation, you're getting into players that will be brought in if the first two units are getting their heads handed to them. While he can be a bit of a black hole offensively, he has himself an uncanny ability to sprint in the open floor, which will be nasty on fast breaks. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, March 2nd, Victor Oladipo. Note to user. User expressly acknowledges and agrees that, by downloading and/or using this photograph, user is consenting to the terms and conditions of the Getty Images license agreement. Photo by Dylan Buell, Getty Images, Eric Bledsoe, Team Jonasker. Bledsoe is a hard-nosed player that has done really well in a lot of different areas this year. His defense has improved, his slashing is still great and his rebounding and passing are both solid as well. Giannis may be remaking the Bucks starting lineup, but continuity is never a bad thing. Russell Westbrook, Team LeBrons. You can do a lot worse than adding a walking triple-double to your bench. Westbrook has experience playing with Oladipo, and at the very least can come off the bench and dish out 5 assists, snag 8 rebounds, and provide a noticeable change of pace. Lillard will come off the bench for Irving first, but Westbrook is right behind him. Ben Simmons, Team Jonasker. I had no need for another center and, although I am questionable about whether or not Ben Simmons is deserving of an all-star bid this year, he fits the team fairly well. His defense is pretty good and, although he can't shoot at all, his passing and rebounding will be important to the team. In the end, he is a good fit. Nikola Vucevic, Team LeBrons. Vucevic and Griffin are going to spell Jokic well. I felt there was a little bit of depth lacking at the center position, so adding another foreign star will help here. Vucevic can't be contained on the glass, and has a very old-school game that will mesh well with Thompson's floor spacing. Dirk Nowitzki, Team Jonasker. You knew I wasn't going to end up with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade, Team LeBrons. While there isn't much remaining of Dwayne Wade, he can still provide small spurts of effectiveness on offense. He's a bit of a liability defensively at this stage of his career, but he can still force his way into the paint at a decent clip and has slowly become a better shooter with time. Wade's 3 rings will come in handy as well as an experienced cog off the bench. Next, Dallas Mavericks All-Star Weekend Winners Roundtable. After polling the rest of the Smokin' Cuban staff, the results were close but the voters believed that Team Giannis would win in a tight battle against Team LeBron. With a game like this that would actually matter, it really could go either way.